Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started.
Hello, Judge.
Hi.
SAP reset date, Judge, is December the 28th.
All right. Got that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have been recently arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge, so we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, or consideration of a plea offer if one has been made at this juncture. As you already heard, our SAP reset date is December the 28th. I want to begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourselves accordingly. I want to also remind the defendants on this calendar that you do have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have a right to representation. You should know who your attorney is by now. You also have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. The state is here, they're listening. So listen to your attorneys. All right, who do we have first, deputies?
Good afternoon, Judge Mincy. This is going to be position number 11, Mr. Leroy Parham.
All right, thank you.
This is Keith Cook for the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cook. All right, this is 23 CR 007890D, Leroy Parham, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, a 2nd count of theft by taking. Pre-trial.
11 total. Last arrest was last week. False report of a crime. That's 23 CR 007. Never mind. They left a number out the case. Got an open shoplifting, open simple battery, family violence, ag stalking, harassing phone calls out of Doherty County. Open case out of Troup County for terroristic threats. On probation in Coweta, trespass. That's all.
Okay, state.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Pretty good. So in this matter, law enforcement was dispatched to 2011 Bader Avenue where they spoke to the victim, Ms. Theta Hicks. Ms. Hicks is on the line, I believe. She advised the law enforcement officer the defendant, who I believe is her neighbor, he resides with his brother a few houses down, has essentially been terrorizing her and her property since May. In this instance, he came onto her front porch. I think he removed the light bulbs out of her ceiling fan. Per the warrant, she's filed 4 different reports against this individual. He's done everything from stealing her mailbox to slashing her tires, vandalizing her property, and the list of the items go on. He was just on the C calendar last week for false report of a crime. And in that case, he falsely reported children being harmed. There is some concern with MH when it comes to this defendant. With that being said, we are asking for a $500 surety bond on the criminal trespass, a $500 surety bond on the theft by taking. We are requesting MHET, no further contact with the victim, Ms. Theta Hicks, a stay away from the incident location, 2011 Bader Avenue, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. Of course, we would sound for the victim, Ms. Hicks. The court deems.
All right. Ms. Hicks.
Yes.
All right. How are you?
I'm blessed. Can I say a few things, Your Honor?
Yes, I would like, and I remember this is not your trial. This is only a bond hearing.
Right.
So I'm going to be very limited in what I can hear from you. But
Okay.
I need to swear you in first, and then I'll let you make a brief statement, okay?
Okay.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. Do you want to have any further contact with Mr. Parham?
No, I do not.
And are you afraid of Mr. Parham?
Yes, I am.
All right. Outside of what the state has told me, is there anything else that you would briefly like to tell me about the situation?
Yes, Mr. Parham, who I don't know, has been harassing me ever since May. He came onto my property, he slashed my tires, he stole my mailbox and my mail. A couple of months ago, he stole my mailbox again. Last Sunday, I saw him on my property. He was at my deceased son's cars with a flashlight at 11 o'clock at night, talking about what he was going to do to the cars. Then the other night, when I looked at my camera, my porch lights was off. I come over here and he had stolen the light bulb, so the porch was dark. Every time Mr. Parham see me coming to my house, he's harassing me, he's cursing me out. I have never said anything to him. Like I said, I went down there to get a TPO on him. They couldn't find him. So then the judge dismissed it because it was 30 days later. But I kept telling the sheriff's department he was locked up at pretrial. I called pretrial every day for 30 days straight. I called the sheriff's office for 30 days straight to tell him where he was, but they never went down there to serve it. Is there any way, I guess I'm asking you, can he be barred from coming back on our street since he don't live here?
Well, I don't know about the whole street.
He's been harassing all my neighbors. Last week, he went across the street and slashed all their tires, 3 different trucks. He slashed their tires.
Okay. Well, those other neighbors would have to come down and swear out warrants for him for their damage as well. So I can't address the other neighbors because they're not parties to this action at the moment.
Okay.
But you can advise them to contact someone at the solicitor's office, and they can help them with their cases as well.
Okay.
But I'm certainly going to order that he obviously not have any more contact with you. And you'll be able to use that bond conditions order to call the police for the future. But let me hear from his attorney first.
Okay.
And then I will make my ruling, okay?
All right. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, all I can deal with is the charges in front of me, which is a trespassing and a theft by taking that appears to be 2 ceiling fan light bulbs. So we would ask for a signature bond through the jail.
Okay. And the theft by taking items were still on the property of Miss Hicks, correct?
They were taken from her front porch, Your Honor.
Front porch ceiling fan? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just
Your Honor, could I inquire about the address of the incident?
I have 2011 Bader Avenue. That's from the warrant. And I was going to make it known to the court that when he appeared on the C counter last week, he was given a signature bond, notwithstanding his other open matters in surrounding counties. So with his open simple batteries and the allegations that were included in the warrant last week, which were concerning, that's another basis for the surety bond and the request for a mental health evaluation. I think there's more than meets the eye, so to speak, in this matter. So that's the basis for that.
Right. And Mr. Cook, do you have any weigh in or thoughts on the MH order?
So the state would like an MHET, is that right? An evaluation, mental health evaluation?
Yes.
I don't think we would have an objection to that. I don't want to be at odds with my client, but given this history, we would not have a problem with that. Again, this particular case involves 2 stolen light bulbs. So.
Right. Well, I guess I'm concerned more about the trespass and the repeated events, even though they may be 2 light bulbs. It's the fact that he obviously is alleged to continue coming around Miss Parham's. They don't know each other, not related to each other. And if it is true that he's also harassing other neighbors, then it sounds like he needs an evaluation. So I'm definitely going to order that. Do you have any more information that you want to give on Mr. Parham? Is he working? How old is he?
Mr. Parham is 65 and he is retired. He
And
did
do you-
serve in the Navy for 8 years between 1970 and 1978. He's a widower. That's what we have, Your Honor.
Okay. And so I'm assuming you would have an address for him and that he doesn't live in this area. Are you aware of that, or do we know?
Well, he lives on Bader Avenue. Yes, Your
He
Honor.
lives on the same street? Is that?
Well,
would you
I
have-
guess 2027 Bader Avenue, Atlanta 30310, and he owns his home.
That's correct, Your Honor. I remember the case from last week, and he resides with
Mhm.
his brother. In
Mhm.
that case, he called 911, reporting that children were being sexually abused, amongst several other things. Police came to the brother's home, and nothing that he reported was true. So to answer your question, yes, he does live on that street with his brother. And
Wow.
I think that incident report might have referred to his brother as a caretaker, perhaps. I'm not certain, but I do recall they do live together.
Can I
Uh,
say something, Your
I
Honor?
was getting ready to ask you, Ms. Hicks, how far down does
That's
his brother live
that's
from you?
2 houses from me. He sleeps on his brother's porch. The brother do not allow him in the house. I have heard his brother ask him several times to leave the property, but then when the brother leaves, he comes right back. He sleeps on his porch. If that considered living there, I don't know.
Right, but that's 2 doors from you?
2 doors from my house, yes.
Okay, I wish I could do more at this point, but I'm certainly going to I'm going to order a surety bond. I'm going to order that surety bond, $1,000 for the criminal trespass and 500 for the theft by taking, so a $1,500 surety bond. I'm going to also order MHET. I'm going to, and he's to follow any instructions or medications that are resulting from that MHET. I'm going to also order that he have no more contact with you. So there's no further contact with the victim. He is to stay away from your address at 2011 Bader Avenue. He is to stay within 100 yards of you, to have no further contact with you, either directly or indirectly. If you see him on your property, call the police immediately. Get a copy of this bond order. And if he makes bond and state that obviously he is not to be within 200 yards of you, I'm sorry, is what the order will state.
Okay.
And he's not to have any contact with you directly or indirectly through family, relatives, emails, anything like that. And you should call the police if you see him on your property. I'm glad it sounds like you have cameras or a Ring device or something that would
Yes,
alert you.
I had to invest in cameras because of him. Yes.
Okay. Well,
I
that
sure
that
did.
will help a little bit so that you can hopefully be alerted and call the police, and they will hopefully get there
Okay.
before he leaves. That's all I can do at this stage. I will
Okay.
also order no drugs, alcohol, unprescribed medication, or weapons or guns while Mr. Parham is on bond.
Your
Okay.
Honor,
Yes.
he does sleep on his brother's porch. If maybe, I mean, that's the testimony. We don't know exactly. But is 200 yards put his brother's house within the prohibited range? Because I don't want to put him on the street.
It probably isn't 2 football fields away. Do you think
Not
that?
normally, no.
No, not in Atlanta, huh? That's the general language. Do you think he's 1 football field away, Miss Hicks?
Not.
Probably not.
No, ma'am, but I sure would appreciate that 200 yards though.
I understand, but we don't want to put them on the street. So I'm wondering, could we just say not beyond his brother's property, or not towards her property beyond his brother's property? Otherwise, we just
I can't,
accelerate a problem.
I can't technically order him to be that far away from you if, because of his only abode that we know of at this point is that, let me say this, he should not be off of his brother's property. Miss Grace put in this bond order, which is less than 200 yards away. But if he is off that property and the victim is off the property, say they're at Kroger or Publix, he should stay 200 yards away from her when he's not on his brother's property. However, he should not be off the brother's property in order to come within any contact of the victim. And I know that language is kind of crazy. When you send it to me, I'll fix it up a little bit.
Okay, and I know a lot of this is going to depend on the MH evaluation. So
Correct.
thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hicks, and good luck to you.
All right, I sure do appreciate you, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Next on, this is gonna be position number 2, Mr. Evans Braden.
All right. 23 CR 007897J, Evans Braden, charged at 1 count of criminal trespass, pretrial.
Second arrest, 2022 DUI dismissed. Jail was the
Right.
recommendation.
All right. State.
Good afternoon, Judge Mincy, Raquel Pope for the Solicitor General's office. How are
Good
you?
afternoon. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. This is an incident that took place on December 12th, 2023, where it's alleged that the defendant did enter the premises at 1380 Mason Street, Atlanta, Georgia, and spray painted the wall without consent. And this was a MARTA wall that was spray painted. The recommendation of the state is you are unsecured judicial release to the jail. Stay away from 1380 Mason Street, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm not sure he is a co-defendant, Ricardo Henderson. I'm not sure what their relationship is, but no contact with the co-defendant while on bond.
All right. And so this 1380 Mason Street, is that a particular MARTA station or just a MARTA property?
It's a MARTA facility. It says, look the warrant really quickly.
Okay.
That they spray painted a transmission, some type of wall on a power transmission.
Okay. Because I was just
So
making sure it's not a particular MARTA station, and he obviously has no reason to be there.
It didn't identify a station, but I can tell you, if you give me one moment, I can give you that information.
Doesn't sound like one, but then sometimes they have weird addresses.
I don't have any information that it's a MARTA station. It certainly was not identified in the information that we had, but I would just ask that he stay away from that address.
Okay. All right. And is that it for the state?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Cook, or who's representing? I'm sorry.
I am, Your Honor.
Yes. And pronounce your last name for me so it can click in my ear. I don't want to mispronounce again today.
Atai.
Atai. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Judge.
Atai.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 23 years old. He's a high school graduate, has attended some college. He works full-time doing sales for Boxed Water is Better. He does deny the allegations in the warrant. He only has one previous arrest, and that case was dismissed. So I am requesting a signature on bond through the jail. I would say with no restrictions, but a stay away from that MARTA location is fine. I'm not sure of his relationship with Mr. Hernandez, but I would ask the court not to place any restrictions other than the stay away from the MARTA.
That's position 7. All right. I'm going to order $1,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order a stay away from 1380 Mason Street, which we believe is a MARTA power station of some sort. Stay away from the incident location. I'm going to order no further contact with the co-defendant Ricardo Hernandez. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I believe that'll be it for now. Anything else from either council?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Nothing
thank
further from
you.
the state.
Mhm.
Your Honor, he wants to ask you a question.
Your Honor, before, I guess I should ask my attorney, for advice. Okay. But the location, is a largely painted area, off of the belt line. And I believe it's just might put them to more perspective as to, what the place is. So I think, never mind. I'll just leave it as that.
But I'm going to caution you to not talk any further. Your attorney will probably cut you off either anyway, but I don't really care at this point what it is. If you don't have any rights or authority, it's not your property or permission to be there to be painting. Even if it's abandoned property, it belongs to someone, which right now it's a MARTA corporation. So you are to stay away from there. I mean, if it's not a train station, do you have a reason to be there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then you should stay away from there. If you're caught there again, you'll be right back here at the Fulton County Jail, okay? All right, thank you. Next case, deputies.
Next is gonna be position number 12, Mr. Paul Phipps.
23 CR 007903B, Paul Phipps, charged at 1 count of theft by shoplifting. Pretrial,
First arrest, jail with the recommendation.
all right. State,
Your Honor, very brief facts of the case is that the defendant took possession and concealed a modular looks like right angle attachments, brad, nails, carpenter pencil, flat paintbrush, battery pack, energizer, batteries, ceiling remote fan, plastic sidewall register, and a heavy-duty small box inside of a black backpack. The defendant was confronted by employees of the Home Depot located at 1580 Holcomb Bridge Road, Roswell, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia. While exiting the store, he then left when confronted. The item's total value was $118.82. They eventually recovered the items. Because it is his first arrest, the state's recommendation is a signature bond through the jail, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away from that incident location, which is that Home Depot.
all right. PD Kim,
We have no objection. We just want to put it on the record that my client denies the allegation. Thanks.
all right, thank you. I will order a $1,000 SOB jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Stay away from the Home Depot on Holcomb Bridge Road. And I guess that'll be it. I was gonna say no further contact with employees, but if he has to stay away, he won't be there. So if there's nothing else, council, that's all I'll order.
Thank you.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount again?
$1,000 SOB jail.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next is gonna be position number 3, Mr. Eric Brooks.
This is 23 CR 007895G. Eric Brooks, charged at 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
10 total. Last arrest was on the 10th of this month. It says window tint. 2019 driving without a valid license. 2018 possession of a Schedule 2. Possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. 2018 possession of cocaine and meth. It's level 3.
All right, state.
This incident took place on August 25th, 2023. Officer Skinner responded to a dispute at 40 Mount Zion Road Southeast. Officers met with the victim.
Turn on your camera, please.
Thank you. Sorry, I thought I did that. I apologize.
Okay.
Officers met with the victim, Erica Brooks, who stated that she and the defendant, her brother, were in a disagreement, and the victim asked him to leave, to which he declined and stated, "I'm not going anywhere." Ms. Brooks claimed that the altercation became physical when Mr. Brooks struck her in with a closed fist on the left side of her face, causing her to fall to the ground. When she attempted to get up, he then struck her a second time with a closed fist to the left side of her face before pushing her back down to the ground and fleeing the scene. The officer did observe physical bruising and injuries to the left side of the victim's face. The victim and the defendant are siblings and live at the same address. Based on the history of the defendant, the state is requesting a UJR pretrial level 2 anger management awareness course, no contact with Erica Brooks, stay away from 40 Mount Zion Road Southeast, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. I believe Ms. Brooks is present this afternoon on the Zoom.
All right. Ms. Brooks, do you wish to address the court today? You have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Yes, do you wish to address the court today?
Oh, yeah. My
Hold
brother
on,
don't
hold
have
on,
that
hold
one.
on, hold on. I need to swear you in first.
All right.
All right. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Put your hand down. Are you in fear of your brother?
No,
Do you want to have any more contact with your brother?
that's my brother. My brothers are the only thing I got. We don't have our mom passed last year. We the only thing we got. So no,
But I want you to be
my brother-
safe.
I'm safe with my brother. It's just a dispute that we had. That's it.
All right. Any cross-examination by the state or by the PD?
None for the state at this time.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. I have your testimony, Ms. Brooks. You can mute yourself. Thank you for your time.
All right.
All right. And go ahead, PD Atai. Atai.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 39 years old. He does have 2 children, aged 15 and 19. He does work full-time with his sister. And they do live together and they take care of their children together. After speaking with them, it's clear that they're a very tight-knit family, living together, working together, caring for the children together. And I did speak with Miss Brooks, and she did let me know that she does want her brother to return to the home. This incident allegedly occurred in August, and they have been living together peacefully since then. And really, it seems like they really rely on each other. And I have no objection to a signature bond through pretrial services. I would request a signature bond through the jail, though, because he was arrested on the 10th and has been in custody since then. Of course, he was arrested on a window tint violation, but he has been in jail for 3 days.
Oh, okay. Since December 10th, not.
Yes, December 10th.
Okay. Does he work?
Yes, he does. He works full-time at Supply Pro. It's an oil company in Hapeville. He works there with his sister. They ride together to work. He gives her kids rides to school, his kids. So I would really object to any kind of stay away or no further contact. That wouldn't be, what any of them wants. And his sister stated to me that, as she stated to the court, that they lost their mother recently, and the only thing they have is each other.
Okay, I understand all they have is each other, but with each other, you can't lay hands on each other and fight. That's not a good look for your children, Miss Brooks and Mr. Brooks. So I'm going to, with some caution, because there's been a few months in between, I'm going to order a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial. level 2. And so Mr. Brooks will have to report pretrial and inform him of how to do that. I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim, Erica Brooks. And no drugs, alcohol, unprescribed medication, weapons or guns while on bond. And that's no further violent contact with some reluctance that you all can still live peacefully together. And let me say this, there is a class I want him to take through pretrial. It's free through them. And that's the 1-day anger awareness course. He can maybe get hold of his emotions in the future. And good luck to you both.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Next round, we've got position number 1, Mr. Dominique Benton.
Okay.
Number
And you
1.
are free to go, Ms. Brooks. This is 23 CR 007898Y. Dominique Benton, charged with 1 count of battery, pretrial.
Second arrest, 2018 carrying weapon without a valid license. You got first offender for that, level 1.
Okay. All
Your
right,
Honor,
state.
This incident happened or took place on June 18th, 2023. Officer Norris responded to an information on a dispute call at 3800 Camp Creek Parkway Southwest, which is a Walgreens. Upon arrival, the officer met with the victim, Ms. Charlene Williams, CHARLIN Williams, who stated that a customer named Dominique Benton threw a water bottle at her. Ms. Williams advised that Mr. Benton got upset due to her demeanor. The defendant asked her multiple questions and he was provided responses to his questions. At some point, they got into a back and forth and the defendant threw a water bottle at her chest, which hit her and caused a bruise between her neck and upper chest. Officers did view the video surveillance of the incident, which was consistent with the victim's recitation of the facts. The victim, our office did have an opportunity to speak with Ms. Williams. She was a pharmacy at the incident location. She confirmed the events in the warrant and confirmed the injuries to her chest and her neck. She stated that although she no longer works at the location, she does want no contact with the defendant, and she is present here this afternoon. The recommendation would be you are unsecured judicial release, pretrial level 1. I'm sorry, and it's something I saw was wanted out of Columbus for a fraud of identity. Did you see that, Mr. Howard? Because if so, I think I was going to do a UJR jail to the hold.
I can look it up.
Okay.
No contact with the victim, Charlene Williams, and stay away from 3800 Camp Creek Parkway Southwest, the Walgreens.
All right. I don't know. Well, we'll wait. Mr. Howard, you can jump in if you find the hold. And go ahead, PD Atai.
And
that was closer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, really quickly, and I don't know, you can go in whichever order, but I do think Ms. Williams was present on Zoom. I'm not sure if she wanted to make a comment to the court.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Ms. Williams, do you wish to address the court today?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you wish to address the court today?
I'm not sure what else I will be able to add to that. Did you have any?
Well, I can swear you in and ask you 2 questions if you'd like.
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, put your hand down. Do you wish to have any contact with Mr. Benton?
No, ma'am, none at all.
Okay, and are you in fear of Mr. Benton?
Yes, I am.
All right, those would be my 2 questions for today. And so I appreciate you getting on to give us that information. Yes, anything else?
Yes, Judge Mincy. I wanted to also include that we did not have a conversation of back and forth or anything like that. He wanted to tell me that he thought that I should be, I guess, what he didn't say, he didn't have any questions about his prescriptions or anything like that. He just was like, oh, next time, even if you're tired or not, you should, I guess, be more jolly or something like that. I don't know what he really was trying to get at, because I really was surprised that he had anything like that to say to me at all. So yeah, I just wanted to put that input. He did not have any questions for me, anything like that. He just came up, basically very entitled and trying to tell me that next time I should do this or that or whatever. So like I said, I didn't know where that came from because I just was at work. I was just the pharmacist on duty that day at that particular location because I had to go to different ones every day. So that day I was there. I didn't understand what he was talking about. And honestly, too, I made sure to call him before he was supposed to come back or anything like that because he didn't have his birthday on his prescription. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was going to be squared away for him to go because he just, I don't know, he like when he dropped off his prescription too, you just can kind of tell sometimes the patients that you have that will come up to the pharmacy, and I didn't want him hanging around. So I
I
called.
understand. You don't have to justify your actions as the victim. I'll be honest with you at this point. And I think I get a clear picture of it. This is his bond hearing. And so we're not alleging that you did anything wrong or could have done anything differently at this point. Sometimes these cases kind of happen in my experience. So continue to keep in contact with the victim witness advocate for the solicitor's office as the case goes forward. If you need any services or assistance, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, appreciate you for getting on the Zoom call.
Mhm.
All right, PD, Atai.
Yes, thank you. Your Honor, my client is 23 years old. He did graduate from Mays High School. He works 2 full-time jobs at a construction company and Amazon Flex. He qualifies for public defender services. He's lived in Georgia all his life. I guess we're requesting a signature on bond through the jail. I didn't see that there was a hold, but Mr. Howard says there is a hold out of Columbus. So, the signature bond through the jail, I guess released to that hold is all we can ask for. My client does deny the allegations in the warrant. It's a little unclear. It says the incident occurred the 17th or the 18th of June. I don't know. But again, a signature on bond through the jail.
Okay.
He does have really no criminal history.
Right. All right, I will order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail to be released to Columbus for the hold. And I'm just going to do it through the jail for the hold. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. No further contact with Charlene Williams. Stay away from the incident location, the Walgreens at Camp Creek Parkway. And I guess that's it.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
I'm confused about this Columbus case. Did you go into detail about that, or you can't?
I usually don't. Pretrial can tell us what they found. I mean, maybe the date of the hold or the date of the order.
I just saw the warrant on the booking.
Just saw the
They
warrant
didn't
on
put the
book.
warrant with the GCIC this time, so, but it is
Oh.
on the booking screen now.
What
Okay.
I see is a warrant out of Columbus for fraud of identity with the date of January 23rd, 2023. I mean, it doesn't look like there's been an arrest on it, but that was
Okay.
what I saw.
Yeah, his last arrest was 2018, so it's still outstanding then. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Does that answer your general question, Mr. Benton? You can check with your attorney later or give her a call, and maybe she can provide some additional information, but that's where you're going to be released to.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome.
Now, the next, we're gonna go to position 5, Mr. Mark Green. Just give me a second. Come on.
Okay. All right, this is 23 CR 007896Y. Mark Green, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, pretrial.
13 total. 2022 public drunk. 2018 trespass, disorderly conduct conviction. 2017 disorderly conduct criminal trespass arrest, level 2.
All right, stay.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident took place on December 12th, 2023, when Officer Hughes was dispatched to a vehicle fire at the intersection of Alpharetta Street and Norcross Street. Upon arrival, Officer Hughes blocked the roadway traveling east from Alpharetta Street. While at the intersection, Officer Hughes observed a black male walking close to the vehicle, actively on fire. He told the defendant to move back away from the vehicle in case the vehicle exploded. The defendant shouted and waved his hands and continued to get closer to the vehicle. Officer Hughes then approached the defendant along with Officer Carter. They escorted the defendant away from the vehicle. After escorting him away, he continued to walk back towards it. Again, the officers tried to escort him away again. He began to actively resist, at which point he was arrested for obstruction of a law enforcement officer. And the state's recommendation is UJR pretrial level 2.
Okay. All right, PD Achayi.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 61 years old. He's currently in a wheelchair due to injuries he states that he sustained when the 3 officers slammed him to the ground. He's charged with willful obstruction, but he denies the allegations. He states that he approached the car, which was partially in flames, to help a person who was trapped inside to get out. He stated that if he knew that he would end up in jail for that, he wouldn't have tried to help the person who was trapped inside of the car. I know that he is recommended for a UJR level 2, but due to the circumstances here, I would ask for a signature on bond through the jail.
All right. Does he work?
He does not work. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Yes, Your Honor, he does work. He does work for a heating and air conditioning company, installing, I guess, units outside, but he doesn't make enough, so he qualifies for public defender services.
Okay. And last question, you have a good address for him?
Yes. He has a home.
All right, I'm going to order a signature bond through the jail in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to order no further contact with the officers in this case. I'm going to also order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that'll be it for now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second, y'all.
Okay.
Next is gonna be position number 15, Mr. Larry Roberto.
This 23 CR 007901J, Larry Robital, charged with 3 counts, 1 count of driving expired or no license plate or decal, no insurance, and driving while license suspended or revoked. Pretrial.
Fourth arrest. Last was back in September. Simple battery out of Clayton County. 2015 driving without a valid license, not prosecuted. 2014 theft by taking. Jail was the recommendation.
All right. State.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I believe that might be my case. I don't know if
Okay.
I missed it. Let me find the document.
Okay.
That is my case, Your Honor. My apologies. Brief facts of the case, Your Honor, is that the defendant operated a vehicle and had a fixed cardboard tag stating that the tag was applied for, written on in place of the state tag. He also did not have proof of insurance at the time, and the defendant also had a suspended license for failure to appear. The violation dates appear to be December 15, 2020, and also 06/22/2023. The recommendation from the state, given the limited history and the nature of the charges, Your Honor, is a signature bond through the jail, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no driving without a valid license, without valid insurance, and without a valid tag affixed to the vehicle. Nothing further to add from the state at this time, Your Honor. And I'd just like to notate that the incident location is South Fulton Parkway and Stonewall Tail Road.
Okay. All right. PD, is it your case, PD Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. Given the charges, expired license plate, no proof of insurance and license suspension, we would be fine with the signature bond through the jail, and the other conditions are fine.
Okay. All right. I will grant that signature bond through the jail on the expired tag or decal, $500, no insurance, $500, and driving while license suspended, $500. So there'll be a total of $1,500 SOB jail. No driving without a valid license, valid tag, or valid insurance. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should be it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It looks like your client has a question. Yes, sir.
I was asking, you say, when you say out on bond, like, how long is that? What
You have to
mean?
talk to your attorney about that. I'm not in control of how the case progresses through the
Mr.
system. but
Roberto,
you're
I'm
getting out
sorry.
today.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry, Your Honor. Mr. Roberto, I advise you not to say anything further. You have a signature bond, which means you'll get out on your signature and don't have to put up any money, and you'll have to appear at all the requisite hearings. But that's where we are today. So I think I would just not say anything further.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Next, we have position number 13, Mr. Dartez Reedy.
All right, this is case number 23CR 007899F. Dartez Reed, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
I got first arrest. Jail was the recommendation.
Okay.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that on August 26, 2023, the officer responded to the incident location, that location being 1888 Hollywood Road, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia, looks like Unit 4207, in regards to a domestic dispute. The victim spoke with the officer and advised that she had arrived home after going out for drinks and that she couldn't find her cell phone charger. She stated that she and her boyfriend lived together, and she stated that he was asleep at the time, and she woke him up and asked him if he had seen her charger. She said she had eventually found her charger and went into the restroom. She said the defendant followed her into the restroom. The verbal argument ensued, which led to the defendant slapping her onto the left side of her face with an open fist. The victim actually sustained a visible busted lip. The victim also advised that, as I stated before, that they had been in a relationship and that they lived together for 4 months. Our office has been able to get in contact with the victim. I do believe that she is on the call, so if we could sound for her when appropriate. Her name is Simone, Simone Hardy, Hardy. The recommendation, given the limited history, Your Honor, is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, and the completion of a family violence intervention program.
All right. Ms. Hardy? Do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, I would.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
I hope so. You're going to tell the truth and not.
Oh, yes, I will. I will.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You can put your hand down for me. All right. Are you in fear of Mr. Is it Reedy?
Reedy? Of course not.
Okay. Doesn't have a Y on it.
Reedy.
Oh, it is Reedy. Reedy.
Yes.
Okay. And do you want to have further contact with him?
We live together, so it's yes, of course.
And so you've been living together since the incident back in August?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. Anything, any cross-examination from the state or from the PD's office?
No questions from the state, Your Honor.
No question. No question.
I guess I would just like to know who called the police in the incident?
I believe I did. It was a blurred night. I was inebriated, so it's really a blur to me today. But if I'm not, I would think I did.
No questions from the state, Your Honor.
All right.
No questions from the PD's office, Your Honor.
All right. Go ahead and present, Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, we would be fine with the signature pretrial level 1 in the NADW. But obviously the alleged victim wants to continue with contact, so we would like them to be able to have further contact, but no further violent contact. I'm assuming, without admitting, for these purposes that that's appropriate. And then we would like not to have a stay away, obviously, and we'd like to. I don't think he's in need of the violence intervention program.
All right. I'm going to order a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim. I'm going to order that he take the anger awareness course through pretrial. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that will be it for this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next. Next, Your Honor, we have position number 6, Mr. Greer, Octavius Greer.
All right. This is 23 CR 0079044Y. Octavius Greer, charge of 1 count of willful obstruction. I'm sorry, 2 counts of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Pretrial?
30 total. Last arrest was probation from this year. 2017 ag assault, possession of a firearm by convicted felon. Possession of a firearm during the commission. That was a conviction. 2012 possession of tools, death by receiving conviction. This was level 2.
Your Honor,
All
not
right.
so brief facts of the case is that on December 12th, 2023, the officers were patrolling in an area known to be notorious for narcotic sales and use. The officers were driving past a location and observed several males standing around a gray BMW. The officer then observed what they believed to be a narcotics transaction take place. The officer then went to the location, pulled into the parking lot, and then approached the males. As they were approaching, the odor of marijuana became stronger. Also, as they were approaching, the defendant began to walk away, and he eventually ran into the store after being called by the officer twice. Once he ran into the store, he reached behind him and held the door shut and told the clerk to lock the doors. Eventually, officers were able to, he then ran into a separate room. Eventually, officers were able to detain him. While speaking to the defendant, the officer asked for his name. He stated he didn't have a name. The officer asked for his date of birth. He refused to give it to him. The officers then instructed the defendant to place his finger on a device that reads for identification. He refused to do so and closed his fist and kept closing it tightly. Several officers eventually had to get involved and assist with the task. The officer then searched the vehicle in order to determine where the odor of marijuana was coming from. In the backseat of the vehicle, 2 bags of marijuana that recovered 105 grams in total was recovered. The front seat of the vehicle, a small bag of marijuana weighing 10.5 grams was recovered. Also inside a single bag of the marijuana was a yellow oxycodone hydrochloride pill. And also in the glove box was a Glock 19 model 9mm semi-automatic firearm. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state in this situation, given the nature of the charges, is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Mr. Greer, put your hand down. You have an attorney and I will speak for you.
Go ahead, Ms.
Your Honor,
McLeod.
we have no objection to the state's recommendation for bond.
All right. I will order a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. That'll be 1,000 on each charge. And I guess there's, well, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond, but I guess there's no stay away and no further contact that we.
No,
Your Honor, it actually works at that location.
Yeah, it's not applicable in this case, but I do want to point out that the state has submitted a NOD for outstanding charges, but move forward with these 2 charges.
Okay. All right. Then I'll just order that as I've stated.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas, because I was about to ask what happened to the other ones. All right. So
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
Next, we're going to go to position number 4, Ms. Lori Goings, position number 4.
Okay. This is 23 CR 007905A, Laurie Goings, charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence, and a 2nd count of terroristic threats. Pretrial.
12 total. 2018 possession of meth and drug-related object conviction. 2018 probation. 2015 probation, failure to appear. 2014 shoplifting conviction. And 2012 probation. That's it.
All right, state.
Brief facts of the case is that looks like on November 25th, 2023, the officer responded to a report of a past domestic violence situation which became physical. The officer met with the victim. The victim in this case is Callie Goings, Callie Goings, same spelling as the defendant. The reporting party, she reported that her mother, the defendant, had threatened violent acts and committed violent acts towards her. She stated on November 21st, 2003, she was at the residence. That residence and incident location is 248 Dennis Drive, Alpharetta, Georgia, in Fulton County, Georgia. And she said a verbal dispute with her mother, the defendant, took place. She said that her mother spat saliva in her face. She also stated that on the 24th, November 24th, 2003, at that same location, the defendant threatened to beat her ASS. She also pushed her down the steps with force. One moment. Our office has been able to get in contact with the victim. She states that the incident location, I believe, is the victim's home. The mother does not live there. The defendant does not live there. She does not wish for her to return. The state's request is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, a stay away from that incident location, and the completion of one anger management course.
All right, and we may have to ask, or maybe Ms. McLeod, how old is the victim? It's her daughter. Is she an adult or a minor?
She's 30 years old, Your Honor.
Oh, adult. Okay.
And I forgot to ask, but I figured if we could sound for her in conclusion.
Okay, I don't think, do we have a Miss Callie Goins on the line? Callie Goins. All right, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 52 years old. She lives at this residence where she takes care of her 81-year-old mother who is quite ill. So contrary to what the daughter is asserting, the alleged victim, it is untrue that my client does not live there. Also, she tells me that she and her mom have an active case, and I believe also her brother, against her daughter with Adult Protective Services for some mistreatment alleged against the alleged victim's grandmother, who is my client's mother. My client absolutely denies. She says this is all pretextual because her daughter wants to see if she can somehow muddy the waters with respect to this with respect to this claim for Adult Protective Services for what she did to her grandmother. But this is my client's home and has always been my client's home, where she lives with her mother. Then the house is actually in her mother's name, Your Honor, and this is her home.
Right, but that's also the victim's home. And ultimately it's the grandmother's home. And so that's why
It is the grandmother's home, but my client is the grandmother's caretaker. Okay, and there is an active case against the alleged victim with Adult Protective Services concerning her mistreatment of her grandmother. I'm just putting that out there. And my client believes that this allegation made by her daughter is simply pretextual.
And I just want to be clear, because we spoke with the victim and the victim said that the defendant does not live there. And so
well, we are telling you that my client does live there.
And she's the caretaker for the grandmother.
She is the caretaker for her mother.
Her mother.
That is correct. Whose home it is.
That's a interesting situation. So your client, Ms. McLeod, doesn't work outside the home or anything?
She does, Your Honor, but mainly she takes care of her mom. That's what she tells me. Because her mom needs care pretty much all the time. So that is what she does. She takes care of her mother.
And Judge, I just want to be clear. We did talk to the victim. She was very clear that she wants no contact with the defendant. She's afraid of her. She said the defendant does not live at the incident location. One thing we do know is that the victim actually lives there. The back and forth about if she's the caretaker of the grandmother, we can't ascertain that to be fact right now. But one thing we do know from having spoken with the victim is that she is in fear. She lives there. She is the alleged victim in this case. And so the state's position is that she's owed some version of some form of protection.
Well, one thing I will say, we have a conflict attorney here. So there's a reason why we have a conflict attorney. Okay. It means the alleged victim does have some history with Fulton County. But what I'm telling you that my client tells me is that she is her mother's caretaker. This is her mother's home. And the alleged victim, there is an active and open case, which you probably can check, with Adult Protective Services against the alleged victim.
Well, I wonder with that open case with APS if they're going to then have the victim to be removed or leave
I
that?
believe that that is what is pending, and that is what is driving these allegations, according to my client. Miss Goings, you can give me a call. I don't want you to speak.
And well, put it this way, if and this is what I'm going to do, I'm inclined to follow the recommendation SOB through I think that last arrest was 2018.
That is correct, Your Honor. My client has no violent history whatsoever.
Right, is to do an SOB through the jail. But what I'd like to have happen, just to be on the safe side, and like I said, it's a very sticky situation, is if Miss Goings, Laurie Goings, the defendant, is to go back there, you know, to make sure. I know that the victim wants no further contact, but I am concerned about the caregiver status, as well as the grandmother who resides there, and whether the victim will or is prepared to take care of her, even if Miss Goings, her mother, is not there. Sounds like there may be some more actions going on with APS. So, and this happened almost a month ago.
Yes, Your Honor, they've been living there since, they've all been living there.
Right. So that's what I'm going to do. I will order a $1,500 signature bond on the battery, $2,000 signature bond on the terroristic threats, for a total of $3,500. SOB jail. And with that, I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I'm going to just order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 7, Mr. Ricardo Hernandez. Position 7.
This is 23 CR 007894J, Ricardo Hernandez, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass.
First arrest, jail is the recommendation.
All right. State.
This is the co-defendant of Evans Braden. And it was the same facts on the 12th. They did enter the premises of 1380 Mason Street, Atlanta, Georgia, and spray painted the wall without consent. That was something that was owned by Marta. I do show 1 prior conviction for theft in 2015 out of Texas, I believe. Notwithstanding, the state's recommendation is the same as for the co-defendant, UJR jail. Stay away from 1380 Mason Street, Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia. No further contact with the co-defendant, Evans Braden.
We have no objection to the state's recommendation, Your Honor.
All right. I will order that $1,000.
Put your hand up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the incident location, that 1380 Mason Street. And no further contact with the co-defendant, Evans Braden. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Mr. Hernandez, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call.
You done.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes,
no.
thank you. Nope.
No, you have scales, Miss McLeod.
Oh, I have not interviewed him.
No,
I will be representing Mr. Scales.
Okay.
Oh, that was you, Ms. Kim?
Yes.
Oh, my
Well, thank you for getting on, Ms. McLeod. Glad we could reach you. And someone was to hold you hostage, so
You know, sometimes I have to hold her hostage.
You have to hold her hostage. I get it. But we might give her a signature bond, possibly. All right. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor. Same to
All
you.
right.
Your Honor, we're gonna go to position 8 and position 9, and that's gonna be Mr. Will King.
Okay. All right. This is 23 CR 007892J. Will King III, charged with one count of driving while license suspended or revoked. Second charge of driving, fleeing, or attempting to elude police. To have a second case, 23 CR 007893J. And he's charged with one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Pre-trial, what do you have?
23 total. Got an open case in Fulton, fleeing an officer, sale of marijuana, failed to obey traffic signs, suspended license, obstruction, possession of drug-related objects. It's 23 CP 221486. Got an open sale of marijuana, 23 SC 188959. And a theft by receiving from 2010. On probation for battery out of Superior Court, it's 22 SC 185230. On probation in DeKalb County for aggravated assault. Got a 2022 probation, 2021 sale of marijuana, 2018 failure to appear, 2018 violation of family violence order, trespass, ag assault conviction. This is level 3.
Yes, Your Honor. Law enforcement made contact with the defendant at a food mart located on Conley Road. Upon trying to make a stop with the defendant, he did pull off. Law enforcement was able to get behind his vehicle. However, he cut through a parking lot, turning onto Jonesboro Road at a high rate of speed, evading law enforcement. It was determined that his license was suspended at this time. The state's recommendation to the one count of driving with a suspended license is a $1,000 surety bond. To the count of fleeing, another $1,000 surety bond. We are asking for no driving without a valid license, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. Do you want me to present the facts for position 9 as well, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, in this matter, the defendant was approached by law enforcement officers. He was located at a Chevron at 3819 Jonesboro Road. Once again, he gave flight. He eventually ended up jumping in a lake to evade law enforcement. However, he was eventually apprehended. It was 24 grams of marijuana that was discovered on his person. The state is asking for a SOB through the jail on the marijuana less than an ounce, and to the account of obstruction, we are asking for a $1,000 surety. We are also asking for a stay away from that Chevron located at 3819 Jonesboro Road. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay. And Mr. Cook?
Yes, the paperwork was a bit confusing, and perhaps the solicitor can clear this up. My client believes he was out on bond from the August charges. So we're saying these are two different cases, one that involves the driving and fleeing and one that involves the marijuana. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, that's correct. Your client has multiple cases. Some of them are within the DA's office and some of them are within our office. It's from similar periods of time, but if you go through the warrants page by page, they all do have different incident dates, and some of them are misdemeanors and some of them are felonies.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. It is a little confusing then. I know
I had to take
some of the,
time
no,
to look into
I
it.
get it. I know some of the warrants, we're talking about an April 19th date, and some we're talking about an August 19th date. So, my client is 31. He's lived in the Atlanta area his entire life. He does work for Environmental Stoneworks. He has a GED. He has one minor child that lives with him. So we would be asking for a bond through pretrial on both sets of cases. Could be level 3. That's fine, but we're asking for a surety bond because he does have at least one minor child that lives with him, and he does have a job, and we'd like to make sure he gets out.
I'm going to, on the first case, he does have significant history in open cases. So it will be a surety bond. On the first case ending in 892J, that'll be $1,000 surety bond on the driver's license and $1,000 surety bond on the fleeing. So that's a total of $2,000 surety bond. On the first case, stay away from the food mart on Conley Road. No driving without a valid license or valid license, unless he has a valid license from GDS. No driving. On the second case, it will be the same $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each of those charges. Stay away from the Chevron on Jonesboro Road. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond for both cases. And that'll be the ruling.
Your Honor, are we looking at then a total of 4,000? Or does that 2,000 apply to both?
No, but it is a total of 4,000. His history is just not good, and he has what, 2, 3 open cases?
Yes,
know
if
he's
I'm
not-
not mistaken, I think the felony matter, he has a no bond.
He already has a no bond on it anyway.
That's what it's showing on the gelling screen.
So it may be an academic pursuit, but okay. I just want to get the numbers right.
I think it's
Right.
5,000 actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
five, that was updated.
He got a $5,000
Yeah.
bond.
Well,
Okay.
On the
$5,000. I'm sorry. 5,000.
$5,000 bond on the felony?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's a surety,
Yes.
and he's in jail with that bond now.
Yes, that was given
Felony
today.
for his
Okay.
charges.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
So
All right,
let me do this. Even though I know he's got the sureties and the others, Mr. Cook, the first case with the driving offenses, I will, because I know he's got, as they say, bigger fish to fry with this. On the driving offenses, I'm going to make that one a 2,000 SOB jail. And then the second one with the marijuana and the obstruction, I'll make that one a $2,000 surety. Okay.
And Your Honor, I don't have an issue with that amount necessarily, but because he is in jail on the felony, I just want to make it clear to counsel, if he gets a SOB jail on position 8, he will not be gaining any days towards credit. You know, I can't speak to if he would like to take a plea in the future at any time, but just know that if he gets a signature bond, we will not give him credit for his separate case if he's not being held on that particular matter.
Yeah.
Well, I will not carry the case forward. That would be someone else in our office, but I'm not sure about that, given, you get credit for time served. He's in jail. So
Right. That's if you're serving time on this particular matter. So what I'm saying is if he's serving time on a felony matter or a separate misdemeanor matter, the state would not be contributing or attributing rather credit to a case that he's not serving time on, and he won't be serving time if he has an SOB jail on this matter.
Okay. But you're saying if it was a surety bond, you would start counting those days?
That's correct. So I'm just saying if he's still in jail on the felony in 2 weeks and he goes to a SAP calendar, it will reflect the number of days that he has served up until this point that he receives the SOB jail.
Well, I'll let you
Essentially
make
will
the
bond
decision.
out.
Right. I'll let you make the decision, Mr. Cook, if you want him to.
Yeah.
If you, I know that's a hard choice.
Well, no, I used to do finance and marketing research, but these are strange numbers. I think
Yes.
it'll ultimately be up to a judge, but I'd still like to stay with the SOB.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll do that. All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Walker. All right, who do we have
Thank you,
next?
Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
Next, Your Honor, I'm gonna go to Amber Scales. And that's position number 16.
Okay. This is 23 CR 007902D. Amber Scales, one count of criminal trespass and damage to property, pretrial.
11 total. Last arrest was this year, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree, Clayton County. That's open. On probation for terroristic threats. That is 22 SC 181-467. Also on probation for ag stalking, ag assault. And they got an open FTA and probation violations currently. So that's all.
All right,
Your Honor,
state.
Extremely brief facts of this case is that the defendant damaged a MARTA bus by punching and kicking the service door of the bus 1565, causing it to crack at the lower left corner. That took place at 680 Lee Street in Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, before I go to make my request, I just want to explain the reason for this request. She, in addition to the convictions that she has, she caught an aggravated stalking and aggravated assault conviction out of Fulton County in 2022. She got 9 years probation. She's obviously violating said probation. And she caught a terroristic threats and acts of felony 2022 out of Fulton County, 4 years probation. She's obviously violating probation. Not to be outdone, she has 3 open cases right now in addition to these cases that she currently has, right? And one of them is aggravated assault and criminal attempt to commit a felony, 23 CP 224079. The other 2 are with us. One is a simple battery, family violence 2020, so which she's out on bond, but it's in dormant bench warrant status, I'm assuming because she bench warranted. The other one is a 2021 battery against a police officer and an obstruction of a law enforcement officer in Fulton County, also in bench warrants, dormant bench warrant status, I'm assuming because she bench warranted. 21 CR 00083D. The issue here is that we believe that she's a risk to reoffend. I mean, that's clear and obvious, but there's also a risk, flight risk, you know, as she basically is kind of availing herself of these things going in dormant bench warrant status, but for whatever reason, not updating her residence or just, you know, eluding or whatever. But the state's request is a $2,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a stay away from all MARTA, and the completion of an anger management course.
All right. PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 20 years young, and I spoke with his father, her father, Tony Morgan. They have been living together for the last 5 years, and he is actually right near Rice Street right now, trying to figure out how to get into the Zoom hearing. But anyway, he's supporting, and so my client is not a flight risk. She does have a very solid address that she has. Only thing is, though, she does have a little bit of MH. However, her father is trying to take care of that situation, going to medical treatment. We would like to request for signature on bond through the jail for this charge. She has already a lot of other charges that she has to take care of. Felony charge, I believe that she didn't get any bond, so she's not going anywhere, Your Honor. She is currently still enrolled at South Atlanta High School. She's expecting to graduate either January to May 2024. She's on her 12th grade. Even though she's 20, she is still in the high school, and she works, try to get a job at the publisher's company. She wants to go to Georgia State University. We would like to request for a signature on bond through jail so she can take care of other big fishes.
Well, I don't know. I do understand about the other big fishes or fish to fry. However, with that history, I am concerned about her being a flight risk or just not returning back to court. I'm going to have to order that $2,000 surety bond on this charge. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond, and stay away from all MARTA. She gets out on bond. And that will be the ruling.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount? I apologize.
It's okay, $2,000 surety.
Thank you.
Your Honor, can she at least have some access to MARTA train? Maybe she can be restricted from bus 1565, but she has to use public transportation to finish up her school, Your Honor.
Well, I want the riders on MARTA to be safe, and I don't want their property to be damaged. I'll be real honest with you. If she rides the train, but she needs the bus to get to the train, I don't see how either one's going to help. She's just going to have to get Ubers, and maybe, I don't know, maybe she was kicked off school bus. I don't know why she can't ride school bus. Maybe because she's 20. I don't even know what the rules for that are, but I just don't see it right now because that's, pretty dangerous on what she did. So I will let someone take it up if she comes back for modification, but I'm going to make her stay away from all MARTA right now so she can understand the gravity of what she did.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right.
Your Honor, give us a few minutes. We're trying to get South Annex to log on.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's the bond amount for number 5?
Number 5 was 1,500 SOB jail. We only have that one case left, right?
What, Rice? Did we do Matthews?
Two, Matthews.
We have two.
Oh.
Two, Matthews and Rice. Okay.
What's the bond amount for 11?
1,500 surety.
Judge, since we already only have 2 cases, can we go over the calendar?
Yes, that will be fine.
Okay. Position number 1 is a 2,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 2 is 1,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 3 is a 1,500 pretrial level 2. Position number 4 is a 35 SOB through the jail. Position number 5 is a 1,500 SOB jail. Position 6 is a 2,000 pretrial level 2. Position number 7 is a 1,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 8 is a 2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 9 is a 2,000 good bond. We're holding on position 10. Position 11 is a $1,500 good bond. Position 12 is a $1,000 SOB through the jail. Position 13 is a 1,500 pretrial level 1. We are holding on position 14. Position 15 is a 1,500 SOB through the jail. Position 16 is a 2,000 good bond.
Just to double check, what did you say for position 12? How much?
Position 12,
Uh-huh.
1,000 SOB through the jail.
Oh, okay, right. I just probably misheard it. That is correct.
Okay.
I understand I'm supposed to be in a breakout room.
Which one?
I was told that I should be in a breakout room, Your Honor.
Yeah, Ms. McLeod, we waiting for ACDC to log on so you can talk to Mr. Travis Rice.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
All right.
All right. Your Honor, can we put Ms. McLeod in South Annex in a breakout room, please? Thank you.
Yeah, Miss Champion will.
Judge Mincy.
Yes.
My cases are completed this afternoon, maybe, excused.
Make her stay,
I
make her
will
stay.
let you go. No, Mr. Howard's probably saying no, but we'll let you.
Look, Mr. Howard, don't hush. No kidding. Thank you, Your
Yeah,
Honor. It was a
all right.
pleasure.
Good seeing you. Thank you.
You too.
All right. What'd you say, Mr. Howard?
Make her stay.
Make her stay?
No, sir, Mr.
She
Howard.
heard
No,
you, see,
sir.
she hadn't signed out. She heard you.
I
Well,
know,
welcome,
right? I'll see you again
right,
tomorrow.
that's good. Welcome aboard.
Bye.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, bye. All right, Mr. It says Global Nokia, the male at the top with the baseball cap. Which case are you here for?
Simone Williams.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just trying to,
We ain't got no Williams.
let me see. Wait
That
a
I
minute.
know.
Yeah. No, we don't have a Williams.
You don't have a Simone Angela Williams?
We don't have a Williams at all.
Oh my God.
Let's see. You may be on the,
Your Honor, she's on a felony.
oh, I was gonna say the wrong
Yeah.
calendar.
They gave the
Felonies is
wrong
this
link.
morning. I'm sorry if someone gave you the wrong Zoom link for the 2 o'clock instead of the, what are they, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock?
Oh, okay. What do I need to do, Your Honor?
You wanted to find out about her case pretrial. Are you privy
Yes,
to
ma'am.
that from this morning?
I'll look it up while y'all do court. I'll look it
Okay,
up.
hold on a
And I'll
second.
put it
Our
in the chat.
pretrial,
I'll put it in the chat.
do you see the chat feature on your phone?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, he's gonna put a chat message to you in the minute to let you know what her bond is or what happened in court this morning.
Okay, thank you, because I'm not technically savvy, so kind of.
I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so hold on a second. You can mute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then do we have, I think everyone else, I see a Vanessa. Is that an employee or is that,
Your Honor, I have a victim by the name of Vanessa. Last name is Medulme. She is here on position 10. Is that who's in front of the court now?
okay, that may be, yeah, it looks like this is Alexander Matthews.
Yes, she's our victim in this case, Your
Oh,
Honor.
she's the victim in this case. Okay.
And that victim was released.
Vanessa
Sorry.
was?
That was for position number
10.
10.
Oh, he's been
Matthews, I
released.
think was the last name.
Yes.
Oh, that person was released. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying.
Okay, well, if we can, I'm not sure if the victim is listening, but if she can be excused from court since the defendant has made bond.
Yeah, Vanessa.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're here for the case of Alexander Matthews.
Yes, ma'am.
He has made bond and has been released.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
May I be released?
Yes, you may be as well.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
You too. So who do we have in front of us then? This is the Travis Rice.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. 23 CR 007900C. Mr. Rice is charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence, and a 2nd count of criminal trespass. Pre-trial.
First arrest. He needs a cosigner. He's 17.
17. All right.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case. Okay, but there's the video. It appears that on December 13th, 2023, let me double check.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it is December 13th. The officer arrived at the incident location in response to a dispute call. The officer spoke with the caller, who was the victim in this case, Miss Tanisha Phillips, Tanisha Phillips, Phillips. Sorry. She stated that her son, the defendant, had returned home from school, which is Frederick Douglass High School, earlier, as he normally does. The defendant stated that he was banging on the door because they were locked. The victim stated that the defendant tried the side door on the east side of the house where it is that they normally come in, but he could not get in. As a result, the defendant then kicked the door in the garage and headed straight for her bedroom where she was laying down. The victim stated that the defendant, I'm sorry. Okay. The victim stated that the defendant was standing over her, yelling at her with his fists clenched. She stated that the defendant asked her in a yelling manner, why the F UCK was the doors locked, basically. The victim stated that she advised the defendant that the rest of the household was tired of him coming home and terrorizing them. The victim stated that the defendant at that point pushed her against the wall, still yelling at her, and she had to push him off of her, at which point the defendant began to strike her with his fist. The victim stated that her partner had to break up the scuffle. The victim also stated that the defendant went to his sister's room and asked his sister, are you going to listen to this BITCH? The victim stated that the defendant went into a room where she was and snatched her iPhone out of the charger, ran into the dining room and slammed it to the ground, cracking the screen. The victim stated that after damaging the phone, he also let the dogs out of the house, which further added to the chaos. The victim advised the defendant always arrives home early from school every day, causing issues, threatening everyone with violence and taunting them, saying that nothing will eventually happen to him. The defendant himself admitted to pushing the door open in the garage, to taking his mother's phone and throwing it to the ground, and he advised that he did not know why he did that. The victim in this case, I do believe we have not been able to get in contact with her, but so if we can sound for her in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated. I want to just note that the incident location is 2665 Collier Drive in Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia. Given the age and I guess the posture of everything, the request from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim in this case, a stay away from that incident location, and the completion of an anger management course. Nothing further to add from the state at this time, Your Honor.
But the victim is his mom.
The victim is his mom,
That is correct,
unfortunately.
Your Honor.
And he lives with his mom. He's 17.
He is 17.
Still in high school at Frederick Douglass.
Yes, he's in the 11th grade, Your Honor, and doing well, he tells me. He's currently doing pre-calculus and has plans to go on to college. He denies the allegations, Your Honor. And he says, he arrived home and essentially he was locked out of his own home. He is still a minor. His mother calls the police, has him arrested, and she doesn't show up on Zoom. That is downright irresponsible. This is her child. If she feels that there are some issues, there are other ways that you address issues with your children instead of calling the police.
Now, who is Marquira? I see at the bottom. Just making sure I see a Marquira. Do we know who that is?
I'm not sure she's connected with this case, Your Honor. I didn't see a name like that in the warrant.
If you think your minor child is having issues, you have a responsibility as a parent to address them in a different way. You just don't lock them out of the house and then call the police. That is irresponsible, and this is what was done here. My client doesn't even have a telephone number, anything. He doesn't have an email address. He tells me that there is a possibility that his aunt, whose name is given to me, may be able to co-sign on his bond. I did try to call her, but it went immediately to voicemail, Your Honor. But I do have a name, which he has given to me, and which I'm happy to share with the court. His auntie says is Kwana Duffe, Kwana Duff, and she apparently is an adult over 30 years old, and he believes that she would be inclined to sign on his bond, Your Honor.
Yeah, the state did not object to a signature bond. I just want to point out that this is more than just damage to a property or just words. These are allegations that he's physically violent towards.
I understand. And as a parent, when your child is acting up, what you do is not call the police. You try to find out if there is an issue that your child is experiencing and you address it as an adult. Calling the police is a cop-out when you have a minor that you're responsible for. That would be my opinion. It's a cop-out. He's a child.
Mistake.
All right. Attorney McLeod has spoken, and I do understand her point. We just need to make sure who's going to be on this bond, Ms. McLeod, since you haven't been able to make contact.
Will continue to try, Your Honor, because I'm really worried when children this age are left in the jail. I've had a few clients that age and it's not been good. So I'm going to continue to the rest of the evening to try to contact his aunt. But it's a certain measure of irresponsibility that she doesn't even take the time to show up on the Zoom. This is her child.
Yeah,
there's no guarantee that she got properly notified of the Zoom.
Oh.
She talked to you. You.
I did not make the representation. I made the representation that our office could not get in contact with her. It was
all of this happened just yesterday. That is the allegation. This is her child.
So what I will do is I will grant him a signature bond through pretrial, but I want him to report level 1. And I want him to take the free anger awareness course as well. And he may be able to call in. I don't want it to be, burdensome since he is in school, but just want him to. Right. So pre-trial, see if he can be call in, by call in to check in.
You have to order it.
Well, I will order it to be call in. And
bond order.
Okay. Miss
I understand the whole concept of victims, Your Honor, but at the same time, parents have responsibility to their minor children.
I know, but it's hard these days, Miss McLeod. It is a lot different. And I'm not saying that Mr. Rice is a good or bad kid. But maybe he broke curfew. I don't know. Maybe she did it to teach him a lesson slightly, but I do think she has a duty as a parent. We know that. And I don't know if he has other siblings. A lot of times we hear there are a lot of other children possibly. And, she's probably just trying to get his attention before it's too late because
I didn't read the part in the warrant that I didn't think was relevant, but I guess I can tell you about it now. But during the scuffle or during the whole thing, he tried to get his minor sister to get incorporated into the thing, at which point she refused. The mother was able to bring the child back to her bed, put her back to bed, and then the argument and everything ensued. So I guess the argument is that he's trying to, and he not only is he threatening everyone in the home, including the siblings, but he's trying to influence them in a negative way. And I want to be very clear that she kept saying that he left school early, not that he left school, you know, on time or whatever. He keeps leaving school early, which I'm assuming that's some form of truancy.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't want him in the house because he was supposed to be at school. So I kind of get it a little bit. I can see both sides of the coin because we hear a lot of parents that
I get it also, Your Honor, but at the same time, a responsible parent shows up to explain to the court what happened and the status. This is still her minor child.
Well, Miss McLeod, you want to adopt him?
Listen, I would if I had the means and the time.
means
I
too.
just
But when we
throwing it
bring
out there.
children into the world, we have a responsibility to society and to these children to make sure we do what we need to do for them. And I understand sometimes there are issues, you get them addressed, but your first option should be just call the police and send them to jail.
All right, Mr.
So who's gonna get the
Rice.
cosign though?
The aunt.
He has given his aunt's name, and I'm
What's her
going to
name?
try to keep calling her. Her name
again?
is K. Let me get it. Kwana, Kwana, D-U-F-F-E.
D-U-F-F-E or D-U?
D as in dog, U as in uniform, F as in Frank, F as in Frank, E as in echo.
And this is his
Is
aunt.
that correct, Mr. Rice?
Yes, ma'am.
His aunt is grown, right?
He says she's in her 30s.
Okay. Judge, how much was that? Or you ain't said it yet?
I hadn't said it yet.
Okay.
I'm going to, on the simple battery, that'll be $1,000, and on the criminal trespass, $500. So it'll be the $1,500 SOB pretrial call in, 1-day anger awareness course. I'm going to also put a curfew on you, Mr. Rice. That curfew is going to be from, are you working by chance?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to make that curfew 8:00 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. Do you leave the house before 6:30 to go to school?
No, ma'am.
Okay, is that a good time? You leave about 7-ish maybe?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna say from 8 p.m., since you're not working, 8 p.m. you need to be in the house. That's gonna be on this bond condition for you to get out with the signature bond. And then 6:30 a.m. can't go back out until that time, or time to go to school. I'm going to require you to continue to go to school. That's gonna be in there. If not, you get a GED, but I hope and pray that you graduate from high school. But I'm going to make you go to school, continue with that. And I'm just gonna ask and put in this bond conditions that you have no further violent contact with your mother or your siblings. Okay, how many siblings do you have?
5.
5. What are their ages? Do you know?
19, 14, 15, and 8, and 11.
And a what?
11.
11. So your mom has her hands full. She has 6 children, 5 plus you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm sure she's trying to do the best she can. That's probably why she may not be here today. She has to work. She has 6 kids to feed, so that's a lot. Is there a father in the home?
No, ma'am.
Okay, your mom's single parent by herself?
No, ma'am.
I think the father is not there. I have
The father's not there.
He has a partner, apparently.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, I know things get tough, but let's be respectful to your mother. And if the language was used that is in the warrant, that's not very good language to use to any adult, let alone your mother. And so hopefully you all can get some counseling or help. to make things better at the home. I am inclined to say that you should stay away, but you're 17, but you're going to be under a bond. So if you get out of hand, you miss your curfew, or you start using improper language or disrespectful language to your mother, now she will definitely have the right to call the police and have you locked back up again. All right, because it's going to be in a bond order that you cannot use derogatory language with your mother or your siblings. You will not incite fighting with your siblings, with your mother and yourself. That will not happen. No guns, no alcohol, no unprescribed drugs or weapons while you're on bond. And remember that curfew, 8 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. And I'm going to hope you get on track and I never see you again, because you'll be in college and on with your life, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Nothing further from the state. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And is that it, Ms. Grace?
Your Honor,
Yes.
sorry. I did want to go back to position 1, Dominique Benton. I have been on the phone with Muskogee County, and they say that there's not a hold. They said that there was a detainer, but that they forgot to cancel, and they just canceled that detainer. So he does not have a hold.
Oh, okay. What did I did the 2000 UJR through pretrial or through jail?
Through the jail, but the release to the hold. So I didn't know if it would stay SOB jail or if he'd be waiting there longer than necessary, you know, while
Well,
they're
when the jail runs his history, hopefully it'll be off by the time they do it. You know, it takes a minute, but I mean, we can let them know, but they're not going to care until it comes off, you know, of his record. If it's still there, they're going to hold him.
Well, I think the thought is that SOB jail was requested so he could be released to the hold, but if there's no hold to release him to, we'll be asking for him to be SOB through pretrial services.
I just don't want to confuse the jail.
So
because
who is this?
are they still on
Position 1, I believe.
position 1?
Oh,
I'm still on. I'm still on.
Oh, you are Officer Norris. Okay, you're
Yeah.
still on.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Let's he was a 23-year-old.
yes.
This was throwing the water bottle at the lady at Walgreens. He's got an MHET, right?
No.
No.
No, not this one. Wrong case. Okay, sorry. Let's do him change it to pretrial level 1,
2000 still.
still 2000. And I'm gonna add on the anger awareness course for him. And you hear that, Deputy Norris, they claim that his hold should be released and they forgot to do it. That's terrible, but okay.
Gotcha.
We forgot to cancel it. Ouch. He could have been driving around and picked up and sent to Muskogee.
Right.
Anything else that we need to take up, anyone?
I had a case on yesterday's calendar. The DA's office just got back to me. They accepted it as a felony transfer. I just want to know if I could submit that order. Of course, I will CC the public defender's office, but I just got that response today after court ended yesterday.
After court. Yeah, I mean, I can sign it, but
Okay.
you can send it to Ms. Grace and put it in my
Okay.
stack. Who was yesterday, Williams or Law?
Judge Law.
Judge Law, that's fine. Anything else? All right, everybody, you all are free to go. See you tomorrow.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Your Honor. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.